You know, this original game came out on the 360, which was famously brown. You know, because that's how they could make decent graphics. And they were all brown looking. And when they get to Pandora, it is brown and shitty looking like the game was.
Yeah, especially this scene right here when they're dealing with monster piss and a little bit of shit. So respect in that area right there. Having said that, and I tried to be nice as I could with this. Is there room in that bandwagon over there? Can I get on? Room for one more? Because I'm gonna bandwagon the hell out of this, and I don't mean to, but this is still, for all the nice and kind things that I said, it ends there. This is still very bad. I would love to see y'all. You know, a big birthday gift for me, because my birthday's next month. A big birthday gift for me is if you came out to see the 1 year anniversary of me doing sit down comedy at the Broadway Comedy Club. Going to be back in the Red Room September 27th. Oz will join me later as we just sit down and just lollygag with the audience. And then we're going to have all of you up for open mic. And that show, again, is going to be 9 p.m. at the Broadway Comedy Club. That's a Friday. Get your tickets now by going over to BroadwayComedyClub.com. Oh, man. This is the review that y'all have been waiting for before the movie was even released. Y'all sat back and when the movie was sitting on the shelf, y'all were talking about, boy, I can't wait for y'all to tear that movie up.
Give it to me.
Boy, I can't wait for y'all to tear that ass up. Movie wasn't even, they weren't even thinking about putting it in the theaters at that point. Now they probably sorry they did. People, we are talking about Borderlands, based on the popular video game, which was released, what, in like 2009 when it first came out?
I think was when the first one came out.
2006, you're right. And if you played the games, well then, you're in luck, because the movie ain't got nothing to do with any of that shit. No, I'm lying. It has some things to do with the game. They just took some liberties, changed some things around, if you will. So the good side of that is, well, hey, listen, you're getting a different experience. You're not getting the same old. You know, some people, they say, why make an adaptation if you're just gonna repeat what you did before? Not here. They said, the hell with that. No, this is a whole new experience for y'all. They changed things around just to make sure that even the fans of the game had something new to go through. And let me see here. So with this movie right here, and let me see if I can find the main character of this film. We got, and see, I remember you were talking about this. Julian said, boy, this has got to be good, man. We got Oscar winners.
Yeah, lots of them.
Lots of Oscar winners up in here, man. This thing's got some talent behind it. I mean, boy, it's got to be good. So, the Oscar winner that we would be talking about is Lilith. That's Lilith over there with the red hair, played by Cate Blanchett. And Lilith, she's a bounty hunter from the planet Pandora. Can't stand the place.
Hates it.
She was raised there. She said, it's just one big piece of shit over there. I hate to go back home to it. Don't want to ever go back home to it. But she has to return because she's hired by the evil corporate tyrant Atlas, who hires her to find this kid who he believes is the key to opening this mysterious vault. And behind the doors of said vault, dear Julian, is the ultimate power. And of course, in the hands of an evil man like Atlas, that's a no good. Yeah, just like the game, y'all.
Yeah, like pretty much, I mean, the game is a vehicle for the players to just get guns and shoot them. And there are vaults that you're going for.
Well, they certainly do that in this movie right here. So why is this movie getting so many bad reviews? I mean, they got the guns.
Yeah.
They got the characters, kind of. And they got, the look down. So what went wrong here? And even more, as I said, Corey Coleman ain't no bandwagoner. Like I said, I'll take the bus before I get on that bandwagon right there. I got my own mind. I'm sure this man does over here. So do we agree with everybody out there that is just jumping on this poor movie right here? Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for Borderlands, the motion picture. And
in cinemas.
Yes, that adds cinema, a feeling of cinema to it. Borderlands, the motion picture. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for this, and we'll be back with our reviews.
Brave Vault Hunter!
You get a bullet? You get a bullet?
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy is shaking their head, talking about really? Really? You don't think we noticed you doing this shit? Really?
Yeah, they're not with us.
Yeah. No. We see everything. People, look. Let me just say this. Let me say this about this right here, because like I said, I'm not one to come in and dogpile on anything, and a lot of critics are very much coming in, and it feels like everybody wants to talk shit about this.
People are pissed about this.
Yeah, and you know, let me just say this, man. I've only played Borderlands 2. You know,
okay, that's considered to be the best one.
Okay, I've only played that. I played that years ago. I think this is Borderlands 2 right here. As you can see, featuring none of the characters in that game right there. But with people dogpiling on this, man, I'm gonna say this. So some people, I think, might be exaggerating, because some people are talking about, oh my God, you know what? I'd rather have my kidney removed in a Tijuana bathroom than watch this movie again. It was so hard to watch. It was so painful. And I'm just like, look, you know, and now you're just trying to top the last bad review, all right? You know, it ain't that goddamn bad to where it was that painful.
No.
You know, I've seen much worse. I've seen things that I even enjoyed that were terrible that deserve more attention than this right here.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think some people are exaggerating. Now, that's also compounded by the fact that, you know, there was anticipation for this movie being bad, because, you know, the stories of the production problems for this movie are infamous now. You know, you had the delays. You had Tim Miller, who he did.
Are you talking about the guy who did Chernobyl and The Last of Us?
No.
Okay.
No, Tim Miller is a director. What did Tim Miller do? Did he do Deadpool?
He did the second one?
Okay, Deadpool 1. Tim Miller had to come in and do some reshoots for things that I guess didn't go very well when Eli Roth was directing this. And then speaking of writers, Craig Mazin, who's the guy that wrote Chernobyl and the Last of Us, he said he saw this. He saw a print of this, and he said, "Get my goddamn name off of that now. I don't care what name you use. You can put a blank spot up there, but don't put my shit up there. I don't want to have anything to do with this."
And from what I heard was that they shot the movie with an R-rated script and then edited around it.
Oh yeah, no, this was supposed to. They said, "Well, hey, listen. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it in post," which is one of the worst things you can say.
Famous last words.
Infamous last words. We'll fix it in post. And the funny thing about this is that ain't nothing fixed in post. Hardly. So, you know, with this, I've seen a lot worse. And I will tell you, I actually enjoyed looking at this world, man. Now, they changed the characters, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. You know, as I said, you know, some of these characters are seen in some of the later games, I think.
Well, that character Krieg, he's downloadable content in Borderlands 2. That was when I first played as that character.
Okay. But
he's also in some of the later games.
So you can see some of the characters that are in the movie right here, except for this character, Brick. But you got Lilith, who's played by Kate Blanchett, and then you got Kevin Hart, who's a character Roland. We'll talk about these characters in a little bit. So, you know, looking at these games here, man, and like I said, having played once, I'm not a Borderlands expert whatsoever, but having played these games, I'm looking at the look of the games, and I would say listen, one of the things I can say about this movie is that I think they got the look down. It's a little derivative of some things that we've seen already, like I said, Suicide Squad, Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy. But, I think they did a really good job at recreating the look of the game. The art direction and production on this was impressive. I really like the costumes. I like the cities. I like the creatures. And some of the main characters, I thought, all right, you know what? You nailed it. Mainly Jack Black as this robot character, Claptrap, who's been programmed to do nothing but make jokes and make smart-ass comments. And I thought, all right, you nailed it in both areas. You got the look down and you got the personality.
What? I'm expelling the excess lead.
Do not enough time.
This has to happen now.
Childish, yes, but the game is not known for its most sophisticated humor.
No, it is extremely immature.
Oh, it is. No, it's almost that. That's the brand of the game right there. So, listen, like I said, looking at all this, man, I'm thinking, all right, a lot of people are exaggerating. They're making it sound like there's no redeeming values with this. And I looked at it, there are things I actually kind of thought you did a good job right there.
There's a surprising amount of stuff that's accurate. Like you talk about that they nailed the look. They definitely did, because when I was watching the trailer, I was like, all right, this original game came out on the 360, which was famously brown. Because that's how they could make decent graphics. Yeah. And they were all brown looking. And when they get to Pandora, it is brown and shitty looking like the game was.
Yeah, especially this scene right here when they're dealing with monster piss and a little bit of shit. So respect in that area right there. Having said that, and I tried to be nice as I could with this, is there room in that bandwagon over there? Can I get on? Room for one more? Because I'm on bandwagon the hell out of this, and I don't mean to, but this is still, for all the nice and kind things that I said, it ends there. This is still very bad. Mm-hmm. This is, people, like I said, I can't claim to be a dedicated Borderlands fan, but I'm mad for y'all. This shit, listen, because we're doing the same shit that we thought that we were getting past. We ain't learned a goddamn thing. If you look at this right here, listen, it's one thing. It's one thing to betray the property that you are adapting. And it's, and also betraying the fans because you want to do some cash grab.
Lazy fan service.
You want to cash in on another property out there. You got a property right here that works on its own. The fans are looking forward to seeing what you're doing with that. But no, you say, what I think works better? How about Guardians of the Galaxy over there? We were talking about this, how this looks like Guardians of the Galaxy, but goddamn, it'd be one thing if they were a decent knockoff of Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe that would be, that's a big maybe right there, but maybe that would be forgivable. And you also had the chance, and you just said this. Listen, if you were going to rip off Guardians of the Galaxy, you still had a chance to redeem yourself. This could have been the edgier, R-rated version of Guardians of the Galaxy. But no, you had to bitch out and go in and be some low rent, discount, Goodwill, Salvation Army, scraping the bottom of the bargain bin. Is it Timu or Tenmu? Well, you know what?
I think this would be on Zeus.
Yeah, we'll actually do the ripoff of Timu and say, Tenmu, you're a ripoff of already a shady store on Chinese store online. You had to go and be the version of that. You couldn't even get that shit right. It's amazing. I'll give you another couple. I'll throw a word. It's amazing to see a movie attempt to rip off another property so desperately for a cash grab that they completely missed the point of what made the thing that they're adapting successful. I never understand that. That's happened before, and I don't get it. With this, Okay, so you got the characters with the attitude, you got the bright colors, you got the music cues that they do in Guardians of the Galaxy.
A little bit, not very much though.
Well, they do it, but they just do it differently. When you say a little bit, you know why? Because they set up too.
Yeah, I hardly even noticed the music.
Yeah, they try to bring in, well, we're gonna do our version of that. We're gonna have more hard rock and heavy metal. Huh? With that, what really pisses me off is that they gutted any personality or interesting story, and then they just threw a shell of what they adapted right there on the floor or the screen, if you will. I can't stand when that's why I hated Madam Web, because you took a property, you just have no regard for it at all. You just want money. That's all you want. Now, that pisses me off, man.
Well, here's the thing about Borderlands. It's never had a good story. With the video games, the incentive is it's a first-person shooter. I'm going to pick up a crazy gun, and it's a pistol. Oh, my God, it shoots rockets. Or it's a shotgun. Oh, my God, it fires like a machine gun. Do they bring that to light in the movie? Absolutely not.
Again, missing the point.
Yes.
We thought that we were entering this age, a period where studios finally got it. They were finally getting it. They were understanding the errors of the past.
Yeah, where they were respecting video game properties and knowing that there are good stories to tell within these worlds.
I thought that they were understanding. They were getting the formula. Oh, that's what works. Actually taking into consideration and paying respect to the fans that made it what it is in the first place. They made the fans a priority, but that doesn't mean they got to forget everybody else. They were starting to really figure out, think about the fans, think about why they like the property, and then find the sweet, sweet middle ground of everybody else, the casuals, the newbies, or whatever the mainstream people that are going to go see this for the first time. They found a way to appeal to them too. That's why, listen, maybe it wasn't my favorite movie, but I totally understood why something like Super Mario Brothers, the movie that came out, was it last year?
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, when I understood why this was successful. Also, streaming really helped, man. Now we were getting video game adaptations where their stories was so big, they would have been hurt by being put into limited by a 2-hour movie. Like The Last of Us right here. And now, since we're talking about vaults, more recently, Fallout, that the TV show, which was great. Well, I don't think you liked it.
I loved it.
Did you? Okay.
I loved it. Yeah. And the thing is people talk about Borderlands as a parody of things like Fallout, Mad Max, and just video game culture in general.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that they could have done. I mean, you talk about adaptations. Like, I thought watching this Borderlands movie, I was like, man, if the fan base was as rabid as something like Five Nights at Freddy's, this would be a hit. Because all the shit that made Five Nights at Freddy's successful, this Borderlands movie does it. It forces in all that lore that you don't really need to know about.
That's a great point, because I thought Five Nights at Freddy's, thought it was terrible, because I think the story is terrible. But I respected it because it hit all the marks for the people that mattered, the fans. I didn't hate. I hated the movie myself, but I didn't hate on it.
What they should have done with this Borderlands is something that they did with Twisted Metal, where there's a game where there's not really a good story there, but there's interesting characters and there's interesting things that you can do with them if you have someone with an imagination, like the guy who did Zombieland, who did Twisted Metal. He created this amazing world and told a great story and turned these characters into something special.
I never saw it, but I can see what you're saying. And I agree with you, there's something they should have done here. See, again, maybe it was just me. Maybe I was being too hopeful. Maybe I was being naive. Like I said, I thought, boy, I looked at all these things, The Last of Us, and just got through watching Fallout, and I'm like, oh, man, we are entering a golden age. And they took my hopes and dreams and just stomped and shat on it. Buried it, picked it back up, and did the same cycle again. This here tells us that we ain't learned, or they haven't learned a goddamn thing. Nothing. We made some progress. Y'all just, with this movie right here, y'all took 10 steps back. This is a throwback to the dark ages of the 90s.
It felt so much like just a trashy 90s action movie.
Yeah.
The bland direction, action scenes that you'll forget as they're happening.
Well, this is from the 90s where, listen, if you were If you were alive during the 90s, and if you weren't, God bless you, you missed a dark time. This is where studios were buying up comic book movies, but before that, they were buying video game adaptations. And they were just buying the name. They just bought the name and could give a shit less about anything else. They just bought the name and didn't have any faith in material at all. And so they just did whatever version they thought would actually meet the mainstream. And one of the most infamous ones this movie reminds me of. I mean, it even has the same feeling of it.
I think they're brothers.
Now, Borderlands is more faithful than Super Mario Bros. Back in the day. So I'm just saying that it just has that same feeling, where they had some kind of really cool production value on it, but it just didn't fit for the movie. But this feels like this. You had these sets that felt kind of cheap, and then you had sometimes they would back away and show you the whole world, and that would actually look kind of cool. Reminding me, this is so generically 90s feeling, big budget 90s feeling, that at times it feels like another movie that we actually watched for a bad movie roast not too long ago.
Eddie Murphy is
Pluto Nash.
Pluto Nash.
You see how all that is there? It has this whole thing where it feels like, okay, some of the production is cool because you pull back and the world building is kind of nice visually, but then you go close up on these sets and they feel cheap as hell.
This won't surprise you. I love Pluto Nash. Unironically, I love this movie. And I would say Pluto Nash is way better than Borderlands. At least this movie is completely committed and it doesn't look as cheap as Borderlands looks sometimes.
I would normally call you crazy, and I would. Yeah. But I agree with you. I don't think Pluto Nash is a good movie, but I would tell you this. Both Super Mario Brothers and Pluto Nash, it has something that Borderlands does not. As bad as those movies might be considered by a lot of people out there, at least they had some semblance of a story.
And some characters that you felt like you knew something about. These characters are flatter than the floor in the room that you're watching this on.
Now you hear what I'm saying? Pluto Nash and Super Mario Brothers from the 90s have more story than this bullshit we talking about today. And I look at this and I say this because this movie right here, it's about as basic as a point A getting to point B movie can be, man. The characters that start out told them that you got to go get something, get this thing out of a vault. Okay, let's go. And from that moment when they're going, this is what it feels like to me. The movie's just finding ways for them to just run from shit, run from people, run from monsters, run from things. I don't even think run from no shadow. I don't know. Run from
shoot at something.
Yes. Run from things or shoot at things. You are exactly right, sir. Because I'm looking at this right now. I can show you a scene that sums up almost every part of this movie. At least some of the main parts, especially the action parts. This is the tone of the film right here. Running from or shooting at or burning up hordes of generic enemies. Now, if you played the game, those characters are called the psychos, but they here it doesn't matter. There's no explanation for them really. They're just crazy. Yeah. And there's just a lot of them. And the movie spends a whole lot of time running from them or something else.
I would say that none of the characters are introduced. They all just, there's one of them who just appears and then Kevin Hart's like, man, we should be friends. Let's just go on an adventure. Yes. That's basically what the line is.
I know what you're talking about. Is this something early on in the movie?
It's the very beginning.
It's the very beginning. See, that's the thing with this, man. Some of this action could have been helped if the characters were fun. But that's not the case with this at all. Not at all. People get, if you're a fan of the game, you're going to be even more disappointed. But if you're not, you're going to be like, what about these characters? Cate Blanchett right here. She plays the main character of Lilith. Interesting for two reasons. One, Lilith is not really a main character through these games, right?
Well, she becomes an important character. I recently was playing Borderlands 3, and she's running the ship that you're in.
Okay. And I'm not an ageist at all. But isn't she a little old to be playing this character?
Oh, yeah. Cate Blanchett and another character is way too old to be playing that character.
But I'll tell you this. She is only interesting because, first of all, she's Kate Blanchett, Oscar-winning Kate Blanchett, and she's doing the best that she can with this material. She get another one of those cases where I'm doing this because my kids went to the games, and I talked about video games so bad, so let mom go out there and show you how cool I can be.
And some of her lines in this is like, come on, like, don't you have a little more pull to be like, this is bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say this.
Yeah. If there's a reason why she's interesting, it's only because she's the main character and she gets the most screen time because of that. And thus, you know, she gets the most background story too, which doesn't matter because her deepest emotional moment in this movie is her dropping some exposition about her mother and complete with flashbacks. I guarantee you ain't gonna give a shit. You're not gonna care at all. It feels so tacked on.
Yeah.
It feels like it. I mean, it really does feel like at the last minute they just put the story here because, well, we have to have an explanation for something.
And it's one of those things where the ending, it's like everyone who's a fan of the game is like, yeah, we thought that you were just going to ignore that part of the character. Like that's basic. Like there are spoilers for this movie in the first trailer for the first game.
Yeah. Kate Blanchett is interesting, but like I said, not interesting enough to be, you know, a character that you care for, root for all that much. I mean, her story really does feel thrown together. So when the team actually comes together, there's no chemistry between them at all. Because mostly, while she's given some personality just because she has time, that's about it. It doesn't feel authentic. A lot of these characters, at least a couple others for sure, have no personality at all.
No.
Kevin Hart, not only is he miscast, now I wasn't as hard on him as some people. I could see him, you know, like they were going to talking about the physical aspect of the character. I'm like, all right, you know, maybe I can see him pulling this off if they get the personality right. But man, listen, y'all,
The thing
he
is,
ain't got. Hold on, he ain't got nothing to do. The man's a comedian. He's a comedian, and I thought that they would have a little humor for this character right here, but they took his little ass and wrung any ounce of humor that they had in him. Tell me I'm lying, y'all, because all he does in this movie is shoot things and wear that damn beret that you saw him in the movie. All he does is wear that damn beret right here and shoot things in the movie. And you would think for Kevin, because Kevin Hart, I mean, one thing you like him or hate him, Kevin Hart has a lot of personality.
Yes.
Kevin Hart he can even bring humor to some of the straighter characters that he's trying to play today. But he has nothing here, man. He is totally devoid of anything at all. He's just reading lines. That's it. Reading lines and getting a check. I would be mad if I saw the movie and I'm like, God damn, you did me like that? Well, I mean, they're working with the same amount of characters as they are with something like Guardians of the Galaxy, but they knew how to give them characters and make them have chemistry with each other.
Yeah, and to add on to what you were saying, these characters don't feel like they're ever talking to each other. They're just talking at each other with lame lines of dialogue that are basic that you could fart out in an afternoon.
That's the problem. These are like very flat, very basic lines of dialogue. It's not dialogue that it sounds like it's just being read. Not terribly by bad actors, but it sounds like actors are reading just lines. They're not connecting with anybody else. Poor Jamie Lee Curtis, another one that's miscast because her character's younger. I mean, her personality she has in it, she's just mostly bug-eyed through the movie looking like she's confused while she's even there.
Yeah, they made her into a bubbling old lady, which is not that character.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And this character right here,
Creed.
That isn't played by Florian Montanu. Physically, he's perfect for the role. But everything else, he's just bouncing around, grunting all over the place.
Well, he was just like there to be there. Like he's of all of them, I would say that him and Claptrap are accurate. They're to a T, but it's like all their stuff is out of context, basically. Like you hear all the voice lines from the game, like some of them are in the trailer, but it's not like him having real character moments. He's there to be a mascot.
And then this is just ridiculous right here. Edgar Ramirez, first of all, Atlas is the corporation. They don't have it's not a guy, is it?
There is someone behind it, I think.
But his name not Atlas, is it?
I don't remember that well, but I do know that is accurate to the game. Atlas being a big corporation.
No, Atlas is a corporation. I don't know if it's a guy, but even if it is in this movie, Edgar Ramirez, he's the main villain. He's playing any corporate villain from any movie, except he's just playing it more sleepy. I mean, there's really no big emotion behind this character.
There's one thing I'll give them that I like that they did with him early on when they introduced him. I thought that was kind of interesting what they did.
No, that the way he's introduced with technology and whatnot. No, the movie has some good ideas, but not terrible execution.
Oh, yeah.
And I would give one person here some credit. Ariana Greenblatt, she's doing her best to capture the spirit of and character of Tiny Tina. You know, Tiny Tina is supposed to be a psychotic little girl, and she's doing her best, man. And she really is acting her ass off in this. But when there's no chemistry between these other characters, it's not effective.
And that character sucks in the game. I hate that character.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're so obnoxious.
So all these characters, their backstories aren't good. They all feel rushed. Like there's no, they didn't bring these characters together in a way that feels believable. They just rushed them together, which leads to a lot of questions. You know, why is the psycho so psycho? Why is Tiny Tina so crazy? What's this power that Lilith has later on in the movie? That is pulled out the ass so quickly that I didn't understand the ending.
Well, it's because the characters are all class based in the game, and they go into detail. If you know and you're looking for it, they do it. But you know, they don't show like Roland's class, which is where he can throw out a turret. They don't have that in there. But they did show Krieg going psycho when he was like swinging his stick around.
Yeah, but at that point, you don't care.
No.
And, you know, that part you're talking about, you know, these characters, like I said, they just feel thrown together. The beginning of the movie already feels rushed. It's the beginning of the movie. I feel like they're already trying to rush through this. The psycho, again, what's his name? Krieg?
Yeah.
He gets out of jail and takes a liking to Tiny Tina and doesn't attack Roland. And it just feels like they're just doing this because, well, we got to get this story moving along. But they don't give any backstory as to why this is happening. This fool just busts out the jail cell.
He pops into the movie. He's like, I'm here now.
Yeah. He could have done that at any time. He just breaks the door open and like, all right, heard y'all need me. Here I am.
It's one of those moments that definitely feels like there is a lot on the cutting room floor in and around this scene that is not giving proper context to why these characters are going along with each other.
Yeah, they just throw them together. All right, go on an adventure. They have no chemistry with each other because they're so rushed and thrown together. So probably the most confusing thing to me here. Why? Please, somebody explain this to me. Send me an email. Please. I need to know this. Why would Eli Roth make this movie PG-13 when this is a mature game? And Eli Roth is known for his hard R violent humor. This game is all about violent, immature humor.
Yeah.
Hard rated R humor.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you take a property that fits your brand in most of your movies? Because he's done a PG-13 movie before, but it was considered to be more of a kid's movie. Yeah. The hands with clocks in his ass or something. Yeah. But the house with clocks up his ass. But this is but you know, this right here, this seemed like it would be perfect for your rated R sensibilities. Why did you change that? Because you obviously wanted to cash in on Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the only thing that I can take from this. Hey, everyone, excuse me for interrupting the review. I'm so sorry, but we do have to give a word out to our sponsor right now, Privacy Hawk, and you're going to want to hear this anyway because, listen, we all know that our data is out there. Our information is out there all over the internet. We take for granted that information's out there. A little too easy, if you ask me. See, if you knew just how much of your information and data was out there, you wouldn't be too comfortable with that anymore. You wouldn't be taking it so easy. And that is when you'll be wishing you had something like Privacy Hawk. Why? Because Privacy Hawk is your all-in-one data management app designed to help you regain control of your personal information. It automatically manages who uses your personal data and shares your data, allowing you to opt out and delete your information from thousands of companies and data brokers out there. In addition, Privacy Hawk provides comprehensive ID theft protection, and their suite includes monitoring of multiple names, phone numbers, addresses, social security numbers, all that important stuff and more. Ooh, that's a lot of information. That's a lot of protection right there. So exactly how do they do this? Well, Privacy Hawk scans across thousands of databases to identify exposed data, reduces fraud risk, and actively protects you from ID theft, and manages your private data all in one place. Now they have a premium plan, but for more features, more protection, and let's face it, more peace of mind, you're gonna wanna get that platinum plan. And I had a privacy scan done with Privacy Hawk. And without saying too much, let me just say that I'm very happy that I signed up. I'm using the service and I feel more comfortable and I feel more at ease, and that peace of mind is there knowing that Privacy Hawk has my back. And you know what? You will too. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go check out Privacy Hawk, and to get your free privacy scan, download Privacy Hawk and use my code right here, double 20 for 20% off their platinum. That's right, their platinum plan. And believe me, it's worth it once again for the peace of mind that you'll get from this. So I want to thank Privacy Hawk for sponsoring this portion of the show. And as usual, I want to thank all of you out there for your support. Now, where are we at? Where is it? Oh, there we are. Back to the review.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I wasn't 17 when I played the first Borderlands. You know, I was probably like 14 years old.
And you know what? I knew, and y'all gave me the answer, because I remember we talked about this. I knew from the moment this name was brought up that this was probably going to be the case.
Are you talking about the producer?
This man because he is known for going in and not giving a about anything but making some money and selling toys and making these movies appeal to as many people as it can, whether it's the fans or not. Avi Arad.
I gasped when I saw his name pop up. I was like, oh my God, he's at it again.
Yeah. When I first heard that, I was like, yeah, I don't have much hope for this. And sure enough, it feels like something that's on brand for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people. I also, just some little notes right here. Since people are picking on this movie, they're going deep. Somebody went in and picked so deep, they found an Axe body spray can on the counter.
That's so weird.
You know, it ain't as bad as that damn Starbucks cup on Game of Thrones. And I thought maybe, I didn't notice it, but somebody noticed it and they said, because I thought maybe it's supposed to be there. Maybe that's a joke.
To be fair, it blends in.
It does. I'll be honest with you. I did not notice, but somebody else said, because if it had stayed there, I wouldn't have any problems. But somebody said it was there in one scene and then another scene it was gone.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Lee put that there just around. That seems like his MO.
Now, some people, they're finding these things, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice them, so I'm not going to pick on the movie that bad. Like, there's something here where somebody, they noticed that, they said, if you look close, there's a part of the movie where somebody's opening the hatch.
Yeah.
That these characters are looking down. They said, if you notice, if you look closely, you'll see, let me see here. You'll see that somebody is actually helping, one of the crew members is helping to open the hatch. I didn't notice this.
I didn't notice it either. I want to
right there.
Wait, do it again.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's so obvious. There's so much CGI and they couldn't just like clip that out. Eli, what are we doing?
So there you go. There you go. Hey, one more time. Hey, I got this for you. They'll never notice. Yeah. So yeah, that's just the cherry on top for some old bullshit. Nice pile of turds right there. There goes that cherry right there. Combine all of that, I cannot in good conscience give it anything more.
Yeah.
I was about to give it some old bullshit just because I was going to be merciful and give you credit for at least the movie looking pretty decent. But nah, that ain't enough here.
See, this is a special kind of movie for me where when I was watching it, even though it fails in every single way, because of the way that my brain is engineered, I was just entranced by this. I was like, wow, you took something that like, I don't even really like that much. Like I started playing Borderlands 3 recently. I'm not a huge fan of these games, but this was just so thrown together in some just Spy Kids level green screen action in here. And again, doing that shit where it's like the game is one way and you're just having characters do things that they never do. And even though there's all this accurate stuff, I was just mind blown at what I was looking at. And I want to give it a smelly rental, but this is covered in shit. This is some old bullshit that I had a great time watching. But that was me. But this is no good, man. But I think that this will make a fantastic roast.
You think it'll be a good roast?
Oh, man. This is just the gift that keeps on giving. Because, like, the things that are accurate to the game, it's like, that looks stupid. Like, could you imagine Martin watching this movie and they're going around the market and the guy has a pigeon head and Martin's just supposed to accept that? He'd be like, what the f are they doing? It looks like a bird. Why?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Martin, I can tell you what Martin would do. Martin would be like, well, I watched it. I don't know what to do with it. Martin was like, man, I watched it. I don't know if there's anything to talk about. but yeah, I look, man, now that my energy and juices are flowing, because at first I don't know if you could roast this, but man, maybe y'all think we could roast this? Have y'all seen this?
Oh, this
roast this shit.
You're gonna find way more than you'll be able to handle. Like the movie is just nonstop. Like that whole scene at the beginning. Oh my God, there's so much.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Loved it.
Well, you made it to the end of the video. That must mean you really like what we do. So if you do, check out these other videos just like this one. Check out our other YouTube channels and subscribe to join our wonderful Toasty community. And as always, stay toasty.